Dr. Kalra.
Thank you. Professor Prem Kalra, before you start your formal lecture on AI, maybe you should tell the entire set of students and participants here as to that one brief and good encounter that you had with Dr. Prem Jain. That will be part of our memory on the archives, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Hari and uh, Payal, Professor Shiv Prasad, and some of my colleagues which have joined me in helping me to prepare this lecture and help me today. See, with Mr. Jain, I had an interaction because we were trying to build IIT Jodhpur in 900 acres, complete net zero campus. That was the first RFP which was designed by Neeraj Gupta, who's Vice Chancellor at Central University, Rajasthan, also Vikas Utpreti, who heads IKEA in India right now, and my wife, Urmila Kalra. These three people had put up, basically, they'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and try to, do things before I leave to the institute and get the ideas on board. So that was first RFP which was created, and Sanjay Prakash got the contract to do the master plan. That was the first IIT for which net zero master plan was being advertised and being prepared. And during that time, I met Mr. Prem Jain Dr. Prem Jain to understand what sustainability means and how different, circular economy in terms of water, in terms of renewable energy. So he gave me large numbers, circulation of people on campus, air quality, like so many things. We had a breakfast actually in Nehru Place together. And we spent about 2 hours. He told me how the LEED works, the US agency to, for sustainability, sustainable buildings. And that led us, actually, his motivation led us to, work on net zero campuses rather than net zero individual buildings. So that is where the journey of IIT Jodhpur started. However, this influence actually didn't die when I left IIT Jodhpur. I joined Dayalbagh Educational Institute, and there's a community live next to it called Dayalbagh. And we have actually this place, we call it Sustainable Healthcare Habitat. So you have water quality, you have air quality, you have agriculture. So all those things, different kinds of emissions, we design systems to put in place. The biggest achievement what we had was here that in 200 acres, we set up a biodiversity park where you had agroforestry, you have vegetable farm, you have a medicinal forest, so on and so forth. So like number of things were done, which led to basically my motivation that some of these things are physically possible to do in this. So now coming back to this lecture, I will just give you certain history about this AI. Actually, I had gone to do my PhD at University of Manitoba in Canada in 1983. And my supervisor came to receive me, Professor R.M. Mathur, and when I sat in the car with him coming out of airport, he said, Prem, you're supposed to work on artificial intelligence. That was the first time I heard this word, artificial intelligence. So I started searching and working and so on and so forth. So since then, I have been doing one aspect and another. So I will cover some of those things here. So with my formal lecture actually starts with to explain you each term which we are using in a title. And this title actually has been helped me. Hari had helped me to build this title effectively. Actually, we did little bit to and fro with him, and he suggested me that this will make a lot more sense. Now, talking about artificial intelligence, and recently in 2025 and 2026 beginning, now people have started realizing that why don't we call it an alternative intelligence? Why don't we call it augmented intelligence? Like it should actually expand human capability rather than competing with human beings. So that theme in mind, The second part was a sustainability, as I shared with you at IIT Jodhpur. We designed this thing, and then at Dayalbagh Educational Institute, we are living and breathing good quality of air and with biodiversity parks and putting complete misting network here for the controlling air quality across 12 months, around 12 months in the campus. So this is, and we monitor data actually every day basis on these things. So with this, these terminology, AI means not only if artificial, because some people believe now it is called, it looks more fake when you use word artificial. But if you use extended, basically a synthetic intelligence, augmented intelligence or alternative intelligence, so any of these words can be used. The reason these words are coming into picture is they actually see, they get more closer to human beings, and they call it humanistic reframe of how to amplify human cognitive abilities rather than competing with this. At the same time, there was an issue with AI that we can teach AI based machines values, ethics, social sensibilities. Will they be able to create Newton's law again? Or when the Newton was sitting under a tree and an apple fell, so he thought about it why apple has fell and he created a Newton's law for that. So can this new AI systems do this kind of a thinking? So therefore, my take was that there are limits to human intelligence. Similarly, there are limits to this kind of intelligence. And we should understand what these limits are before we actually get into the influence of so-called people are saying by 2035 or 2050 machines will take over human beings and all that. That would not happen. That's what my personal belief is. This is a statement I have heard so many times in the past. So what we are looking at is that how do we improve human judgment? How do we create partnerships? And how do we actually do the precision computing? It is true that if you see that what humans are good at, creativity, innovation, contextual understanding, apathy, ethical judgment, and so on. Similarly, you have large set of data, very large set of data. The data mining, finding associations among different data, finding relationship among different data has become very, very difficult because human mind is not able to crunch at that speed and that precision and not able to find the hidden pattern. So pattern recognition becomes a very, very important task. But if you put these two columns together, what we can do, so we can actually process this information in much better fashion. We can achieve higher efficiency, higher accuracy, and we can actually look at sustainable well-being developments. However, before we go further, it is also very important to understand that what this AI is. Now you see different paradigms of AI has come. In 1956, McCarthy, who was at the Trinity College, coined this word artificial intelligence for a simple reason that he didn't find any alternative word for this, whatever projects they were writing. But this all came from Turing, who was trying to design, and Turing theorem came into picture in 1930s. He said if human being and machine are interacting with each other, and at some stage human being gets replaced by machine, the earlier machine which was interacting with human being should not feel now the machine has come instead of human being. So machine should be doing that well as if all the tasks of human beings are being done. So keeping that in mind, McCarthy designed this word called artificial intelligence. Then in 60s, neural network came into picture. So on the development started doing it. One was trying to find out model for mind. The neural network group was trying to find out model for the brain. There's a difference between both of them. And the machine learning basically became handling the large data sets where AI had some logic, some reasoning way of reasoning mechanism also in place. But neural network has a certain capacity. To improve those capacities of neural network, deep learning came where number of layers became very large and people were able to solve, video problem in which people move in 3 dimension and so on and so forth. But what was actually becoming a bottleneck is a natural language processing. People did not know what word to use and how to use that, because in a sentence, what is the next word which is going to come, so that uh, and what is a grammatically correct word, so on and so forth. So to solve this problem, people came out with large language models. So that's why the word language comes into this, because they were trying to solve language actually. Then there is small language models also exist, by the way, and the data required for them is very huge, because as the number of neurons increase, number of connections increase, the number of data required that goes up exponentially. So large language models came, but then what has happened is that people found that these large language models with attention embedded into it, reinforced learning embedded into it, they became generative AI. You can actually train them with certain kind of paintings and create a new painting altogether. You train them with certain kind of a music, you can create a new music. You can train them with certain poetry and you can create a new poetry, and so on and so forth. So these are the kind of different levels of artificial intelligence which came into existence. So with this background of artificial intelligence, I think we are connecting with net zero. So we should also know what net zero means. Now, if you look at, if some people must have a, I'm very sure, science background. So thermodynamics had a concept that neither energy can be created nor energy can be destroyed. So that's a net zero business energy. Newton's 3 laws also actually are mass conservation, momentum conservation, and energy conservation. So they are also actually sum up to be a zero. And similarly, in electrical engineering, Kirchhoff law suggests that at a node, the sum of the current is zero, and a loop, the sum of the voltages are zero, and so on and so forth. So there is, and human life or living being life is also net zero. When you born, you come with nothing. When you die, you go with nothing. So some of these concepts, but how do we actually preserve nature? That was the question which the net zero promoted, in the sense that how much you can actually utilize given resources without impacting future generations. They should get the same level of comfort. They should get same set of resources. They should have same water quality, soil quality, sunlight, and everything without raising temperature on the ground, average temperature on the ground. So to look at these, there are a number of net zero things which have been suggested and produced. So therefore, the net zero can be divided into 2 aspects. One is called sustainability, where you nurture the nature. The second aspect is sustainable development goals, which UN has set up 17. And I will actually present 3 more goals which we thought are important, which are not included in these 17 goals. And these 17 goals in our institute, we did a survey with the help of the faculty member Rupali and other members of the team. And we found that every aspect of these goals have been implemented in the institute. So asymmetries, because of sustainable development goals, can be addressed, but at the same time, nurturing the nature has to be addressed by sustainability. So there's a difference, I personally believe, in these two. So preserving and conserving planet was a part of sustainability, where asymmetries in the removing asymmetries in the planet is the part of the sustainable development goals. Now, the third component, which becomes very, very crucial and important, is people. And I'm going to cover that, because this planet, people, and practices is the main 3 things which protect environment and will protect the planet. Now, human development is a very, very complex phenomena. And Maslow, one of the economist and philosopher, gave the hierarchy of needs for human beings. And these hierarchies, basically physiological needs, then you have recognition needs, then you have self-actualization, you have cognitive needs, so on. There's a complete hierarchy, and this itself can be one of the lectures later on. And converting human to humane becomes most important, because if you don't do that, then you don't think of environment at all. So changing mindset of people will provide you the solution. That's the first conclusion I came to after actually looking at. And then we should not be only looking at intelligence, we should be looking at wisdom. Creating a wisdom society is important. So one can move from data to information, information to knowledge, knowledge to intelligence, and intelligence to wisdom. So how these cycles actually play their role. So the wisdom suggests that you do things which are good for larger good rather than higher efficiencies. That is important. Now, before I get to this slide, I built three scenarios that when there was no technology, civilization started, there were human beings only, local solutions were found, local innovations were done, local creativity was seen, but no communication was happening between the communities, societies, nations, and so on and so forth. The second stage came, which exists today, that technology and human beings came together. And communication started, best practices of one place can be basically captured and can be implemented at other place, and so on and so forth. Uh, Now the third part is what these people are suggesting, that everything will be taken over by technology, by artificial intelligence. If everything is done by artificial intelligence, do you think bots and robots need sustainability? Do they need sustainable goals? Because they are made of same components, same everything. There's no asymmetries. So, and then if they take over everything, what human beings are going to do? That's a big question which we need to answer. That's why somebody told me that they will follow their hobbies, but how long? Like, you need a purposeful life, you need a purposeful engagement, you need a development of your individual brain, you need a development of mind, and you want to socially interact to enhance thought process, reasoning processes, and learning processes. So to do that, the recent phenomena which has happened in late 2025 and 26 is that how do we use these technologies not competing with human being, but enhancing capability of human being. So this is the kind of a background which takes me to this. So the what we talk here is assess AI across the environmental, social, political, and knowledge dimension. People talk of environment, social aspects, socio-economic aspects, political aspect, but nobody talks of knowledge dimension. And knowledge dimension is most important because most active first 20, 25, 30 years, everybody spends in education. And the knowledge generation in those 20, 25 years actually takes you wherever you go in life. So it becomes a very, very important aspect. So this slide actually reflect the fourth component, which is knowledge, which has been missed in most of the presentations. Now, concern is effectively what are the risks and promises, and risks and promises of AI for sustainability. Now, there are different aspects of it. You need to optimize something, you need a very fast machine, you need a large data, you need a data which different human beings have collected at different locations. You want to integrate that, you want to optimize the whole thing and come out how to optimize energy grids. How do we optimize renewable energy mixed with the standard grid power? How do we model climate? How do we predict weather, which is the most complex phenomena? For all this, AI can do wonders and will be able to improve things as they go. But the risk is when you talk of data center in our artificial intelligence or alternative intelligence, that data center needs lot of energy, lot of power. At the same time, it needs a lot of water to cool it. That's why people actually planning to have these data centers close to sea. or ocean. So that they can use that water for cooling. And there are some people who are planning to have these data centers in space for this reason. So these are plannings which are going in a very different way. So there are risks involved. And there's an electronic waste which is associated with this. There's a supply chain impact which is not fully captured. Today, rare earth metal basically becoming a key. That is where the international conflicts are going on. So how do you actually achieve that to these rare earth metals to build these systems? So these are the risks which are involved, and these are the games which people have to see. So basically, can AI reduce the impact of work which is done for sustainability, or which AI will enhance the work which is done for sustainability? That's a question which we need to answer. It's a double-edged sword, AI and sustainability, and efficiency and other aspects what people talk about is it's important, but at the same time, one has to also see that how much efficiency you can improve, because that improvement of efficiency needs a high cost for change. Every time you improve an efficiency, you have to change the technology. You have to see obsolescence which you will create with improving the efficiency. This is called efficiency paradox. And the other aspect which I like to mention here, which is very, very important and not too many people have discussed, problem of sustainability is what we call a wicked problem. It's a formal word called wicked problem, actually. And in what happens is that in case you find a solution of one thing in this, the other problem comes in. So you never be able to find complete solution. So one can actually, the wicked problem also, I did some survey, worked on it, on emergence on this, but that is, I will just make the simple statement here. The full problem, all the problems cannot be solved simultaneously. So you have to live with some optimal solutions. That is the fact. At the same time, when I talked about third scenario, where only technology is there, job shifts will happen. Social trade-offs will happen, as I said, that what the human beings are going to do. And these kinds of asymmetries, basically, how do you address them? So that is, one has to create a balance between AI and sustainability. The most important aspect is system challenges requiring attention. There are three structure risks shaping equity, environment, and control. Data, which is being used today to build these large systems, how much this data is authentic in the sense has been really bought. And if it has been bought and used for learning, then the cost of the solution becomes very, very high. Can everybody afford that? And this, since everybody cannot afford that, all nations cannot afford that, there's going to create another kind of asymmetry, which I'll discuss later. With this data which is available, is it biased towards certain communities? Is this biased towards certain solutions? Or there's another problem which comes with artificial intelligence is what we call hallucination. Without giving a data input, the output starts. You can see that. And this happens because the large language model has a positive feedback system in place, what we call recurrent neural network based model. These are. I'll not get into the technical detail of this. And the positive feedback systems are generally unstable. Therefore, the hallucination can actually cause an issue. As we discussed earlier, the material and waste will become an issue. How do you actually look at it? Energy and corporate control. Who will control this digital infrastructure once you build it even? Not only this, there are legal issues associated with it. Who's responsible for making this decision? The person who initially designed the system, and system, what they claim today is autonomously improving, automatically improving the solutions. If they're automatically improving the solution and they give you a solution which is not friendly with the human beings, then who actually take care of the legal implications, the cost which comes to, basically resolve these issues. So the legal issues associated with artificial intelligence are also equally important. Now, there are some positives. Conservation in agriculture, we found here, we did IoT, we did in here drones and all that, we kind of things implemented. We have here on our campus 16 solar plants. Almost each house has a solar panel on the rooftop. Basically, institute can run without a grid power. So therefore, these things are good to optimize. Then similarly, wildlife. That's why we created the biodiversity parks with all kinds of animals, all kinds of insects, all kinds of plants can survive on campus. So there are certain, like you have urban cities also where you need an optimization, but remote sensing data you can collect a lot. And today, because of satellites sent by ISRO, there are plenty of data. So these technologies can compress the data and make data into information and maybe a knowledge which is useful for mankind for a larger good. Now, AI and sustainable goals. It contributes to health and education, one of the goals which basically we have seen, because health and education both today has been improved by AI drastically. And it has a lot of impact on quality of education, quality of healthcare, and kind of solutions and counseling which artificial intelligence offers. Industry, innovation, supply chain efficiency, waste reduction, data security today is becoming an issue. Cyber security is also becoming an issue with this data center coming in and all place reaching for solutions going all around the globe. The secure data security will become an issue. How do we resolve that? Not only this, if such things get hacked, now how do you resolve it? Is the possibility of finding solutions. As I discussed, sustainable cities, urban monitoring turned into actionable insight. Like in our campus here, we have a data collected almost for last 5 years, every hour about air quality, water quality, soil quality, and so on and so forth to build a proper sustainable campus. So these are the positives. Now coming to, most important aspect of this presentation, that is what we propose is 3 more sustainable development goals. Mr. Kalsi, I don't know how many of you know him. He became a friend of mine. He's an IAS officer, but very meaningful inputs he gave. I sent this presentation to him, and he told me to concentrate on some of these slides have come out of his review actually. The credit must go to him. So the first thing is consciousness and conscientiousness. These both aspects are important because it transcends human thinking. It transcends the way look at things. So therefore, you need, because if in a certain country these things at a higher level and other countries do not have it, they're completely, differences, there are gaps, there are basically, so what you need is if you can make student consciousness aware and consciousness, basically what is the decision between right and wrong, how do you actually live quality of life and give it to others so that they can also live quality of life. It's not only about self, it's about selfless. So how do we actually bring that mindset? And if it becomes selfless, planet and earth will be saved automatically. This is what we believe. The next one, because of new technologies coming in, there will be a digital ethics will become an issue. So you have to create a ethical, responsible, and conscious AI, and whosoever will have it will win the game. That is what basically it matters, because you respect human beings as much as, or the other living beings as much as you respect the digital machines. And this is going to become a major gap in coming future because the products are very expensive. Running these technologies is very expensive. And you can run it only when you have large spaces, because you need water, you need nuclear energy. Basically, they have having a small reactors being set up to run these data centers. So there's a risks involved in that. So those risks have to also be covered. So this will create a digital ethic issue, which one needs to look at it. So this is goal 19. And goal 20 is, if these technologies are going to extend arms of human being and decision making, judgment making, and other aspects of positive aspects of personality enhancement, then wisdom may be more with those people who have these technologies rather than people who do not have this technology. So wisdom divides shallow access to information with declined depth of thinking. Loss of ethical leadership undermines the responsible innovations. So these things are things one has to actually look at. Diverse knowledge strength, problem solving for public at large. Design that system which augments judgment and a positive judgments and contribute to the upliftment of the last, the least, the lowest, and the lost. Those are the things which actually demonstrate you commitment to the society at large. Now, this is a slide which I love it actually. How do you actually convert from human to humane? Principles of true sustainability. This emerged out of discussion with Professor J.K. Verma. Actually, Rupali and J.K. Verma are sitting, both of them who have contributed to these presentations here with me. Humility and humane behavior is most crucial. You may have a lot of money, you may have a lot of technologies, but if you do not recognize the strength of other human beings, one cannot succeed. And anything you want to implement at a large scale, you need human beings who are humane and believe in humility. And this will also, humane and humility will have a social inclusion, which is very, very important. Otherwise, all these UN sustainable development goals may or may not be achievable. Now, these three questions were basically created by Mr. Kalsi. And he said that three critical questions in AI and sustainability: research pillars to balance innovation and planetary health, health of the planet. One must, the IIT Jodhpur, what we did was we looked at a life cycle designs. We didn't look at the individual short-term designs. Return on investment was also looked at lifetime design. Sustainability was also looked at lifetime. That how much damage or how much good it is going to do. And the other part, which is most crucial and important for all of us, which all the country and most of the country, even Europe, has come out with some of these framework and gaps, especially for policy and legislation and standards. They are missing. Whether we can say it in India, we have done it, but we have not done it the way we should look at a large society here and the large young people, the way they want to use AI and these tools, what will happen. And the practical integration of this with embedded sustainable designs will become a key to success. Now, these are some, details about what actually is. So scale becomes, when we talk of alternative artificial intelligence, scale becomes very, very important. Life cycle consideration, as we discussed, are there. Similarly, framework for answering core questions, environmental transparency requirement, international coordination, integration and environmental metrics into AI governance. And the last, which is the most important, the organizational action for sustainable AI by society. And this will happen only when there's a right strategy, right policy, right designs, and right reporting happening, rather than, something. It can actually, these tools can mislead public at large by generating information which has never happened. So one has to be careful of that. And this is my more or less last slide, which suggests what are the human attributes, what are the failure modes. Actually, the discussion which I was doing with Hari earlier was, I wanted to write, if there's an artificial intelligence, why can't we have artificial stupidity actually? And then that is where we started. And human beings do make mistakes. We fail and we learn from there. Lot of research outcomes have come out of accidents, out of stupid actions. And one has to appreciate that. And if that is not the part of the technology behavior, so learning becomes very, very limited. You only learn through positive examples. And when I used to teach neural networks in a class, I used to say negative examples are equally important, because what not to do is also important than what you need to do actually. But today, can they handle ambiguity? Can they handle uncertainties? Can they handle incomplete information? Can we have computing with words? Can we have computing with perception? Can we actually go into future what human minds are able to do in different languages and reach to same conclusion? Can this system do that? So that becomes an important, and therefore my conclusion is that human in the loop or human plus AI becomes a sustainable intelligence, not only machines, not only, you know, agents, not only robots, not only bots. So one has to have a collaboration, and this collaboration also needs to be defined. This cooperation also needs to be defined. How to serve human beings and how to serve communities at large. That is what I have. And these are the questions. I leave it to you. If somebody wants answer to these questions, I'll be more than happy to provide that. And I had promised Hari that I will not take more than half an hour. Is that okay, Hari?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I was a little apprehensive that we may take more time, just that we need more time with the questions that the students will bring in and the faculty. And look at the man's humility. He has acknowledged every single person who contributed to making this wonderful presentation that he offered us today. I must tell you that this he has been so punctilious about it. You know, in the last say 4 weeks or so, he must have exchanged 2 or 3 drafts with me and with Yatin, and he's like a child, and he brings a certain kind of wonderful innocence when it comes to such learning and imparting of learning. Thank you so much, Premji, for being with us and offering this rich set of insights for both the faculty and for the students. I will start with Professor Shivprasad Singh. Shivji, what do you want to say? Your take.
Thank you, Dr. Hariharan. And no, once again, thank you so much to Professor Prem Kalra. In past 3 years, there has been so much talk around AI, and the number of events I have attended. And in my all humility, I must admit that the best I encountered by chance, and thanks to Dr. Saurabh, that he let me in into this prestigious session. And it was amazing hearing Professor Prem Kalra. And I must say that I have developed personally newer thought processes, or rather, a newer dimension to the AI thinking. And actually, whatever currently is happening is so much at a surface level. And so, thank you, sir, once again for letting me in here. Without taking much time, I just wanted to thank the Premjan Burial Trust for partnering with Amity University for all these years, and every year with the such great talks, and the dignitaries that are invited at this platform. We as a faculty feel enriched, and so are the students. The design challenges that has been become a kind of a recurring event for us, and our students are regularly participating. And now, with all humility, I also want to submit that they had been consistently winning also. So again, once again, I want to thank
Great.
the Ms. Payal Jain as the
And
trust
the
for.
purpose of this, I must say, Professor Shivprasad Singh, is to see how you, Professor Shweta Sohane here, Professor Rachna Rajpal, Professor Mohit Bansal, all of you, in a sense, collaborate with Dayalbagh Educational Institute, which is in Agra, and with, of course, the team of Professor Prem Kalra and many others there who are also participating today in this session. Keeping that in mind, I request Shweta Sohane to see how she will want to offer her responses in the context of what your students will gain at your own institution. Premji, can I request you to unshare the screen so that we can look at all
Sure,
the other? Thank you.
sure.
Yes, you have to unmute, Shweta. Shweta ji, you have to unmute. Yes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Hariharan, Payal ma'am, and Professor Shiv Prasad saying to be here. It was a real, I was sitting all the time. I joined a bit late, but then I was like kind of taking my notes. And this is an issue which is bothering because we are into research, and for us as a university and our Institute of Architecture and Planning, one full semester goes into research, and it really bothers me. How do we take control of AI, and how do we make it more responsible? And something which I really took my note as from Professor Kalra was the moment he started talking about consciousness, and because something what I learned was conscientiousness. That was a new word that I learned, but that is something which we all need to make sure, wherein we are talking about ethics, we are talking about integrity, and how do we make our own actions a bit more responsible. So being a teacher, if for us also we are kind of getting, why do we type one full paragraph if, AI can give me that paragraph? So, the way things are getting transformed, the way we are all getting pampered, the way we are getting, हाथ में मिल रहा है सब कुछ. How do we take a step back and see our own actions? That are we ourselves responsible? That we are kind of standing in front of our students and trying to preach and teach that do a responsible way of using AI or any kind of platforms, like starting from chat and Gemini and n number of research AI tools. So I am really thankful to the whole platform of PGMT to kind of push us with their regular messages, and kind of Yatindra to kind of push that we have to be here, and we kind of make sure that we are here. And I'm really grateful for Professor Prem Kalra to make us kind of aware about that we can think of. There's SDG goals about talking about sustainability, 17 goal, and we have been thinking that these goals of SDG 18, SDG 19, 20, whatever he could talk about it as wisdom and as consciousness. I really bow down to you, sir. It was something very nice, and grateful for PGMT to partner with IAPNU, because for us, it is a platform wherein it brought our students laurels. Last semester, our institute had won the first prize. And this semester, I guess one of our students has won the zonal prize. So I'm looking forward to her preparation for the final rounds, and I'm sure we will come up with one of the trophy. Thank you so
Wonderful,
much.
wonderful. Thank you so much. There are over 70 participants here. Any of you who want to share, ask Professor Kalra, whatever, raise hand and we will see that you are given the audio video. Will you do that, please? Any of you students, while you do that, and I will monitor it to see how many hands are getting raised. I will request Yatin to also give Professor Rupali, she is here among the attendees, please give her audio rights so that we can also ask her to offer her views, since she works very, very closely with Professor Kalra. Now I will turn to you, Rachna Rajpal, for your
Okay, sure.
take on what you heard today. Keep in mind that you can all collaborate with this Agra-based Dayalbagh Educational Institute and gain in the process. Over to you, Rachna.
First of all, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I'm really thankful for PGMT for holding sessions. And the whole topics are so intriguing. And the charm of using AI in building design is very good. And especially when we talk about building architecture, interiors, what is very convincing is AI can create solutions which are basically smart, especially smart transport, smart mobility, engineering materials, energy efficiency, forecasting. Also, the risk prediction can be done as per the climate. So I was really, the Professor Kalra session was very enriching. And definitely, what is important is that the students, we are also learners for in this AI field. And as the HOD of MRIS, I am really thankful for this session because our students collectively, we all are like, it's like pure learning. And definitely the use, I really liked one thing from the session today was that students, we as a human being and artificial intelligence, we can together make a sustainable, we can create a sustainable design. So it's basically human intelligence and AI combined, because after all, humans are giving good prompts and then we can design a better product. So that is it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me a
Thank you
chance.
so much, and thank you for being here in almost every session, Rashna. You take back
Sir, I
as a
really
teacher,
like to be a part of all these enriching webinars.
right? Uh, yeah. Uh, Professor Mohit
Thank you,
Bansal,
sir.
your turn to tell us
Yes,
what you think your students gained and what your institute can gain
yes.
further on with
Okay.
Dayalbagh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh, First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude towards the Professor Kalra, sir, for enlightening lecture on the AI for net zero, opportunities, limits, and responsibilities. And as far as our students are concerned, we are like mechanical engineering graduates, students with us. So I mean, I personally take their subjects on refrigeration and air conditioning, HVAC basically. So what I was thinking of that, like in because in today's era, interdisciplinary things are very much, I mean, in essential. So what we can do in the HVAC systems, if the things goes in our way, so we could suggest some of the projects related with the HVAC, and we can integrate like these data collection things with the HVAC systems like air conditioners and AHUs, with so many other institutes. And lastly, I would like to thank PJMT that from last so many time we have been associated with PJMT. Last year too, our students have been participated in the National Green Earth Challenge, and this year too, our students have brought laurels to the institute. And uh, uh, like ma'am has initiated in the starting that uh, just day before yesterday we have cricket match among the PGM officials and the professors of our college. So these are few initiatives which we have been doing from the last so many years with PGMT, and guest lectures are there on sustainability. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Hariharan, sir.
Wonderful, Mohit. Actually, the fact that you are teaching HVAC, something that Dr. Jain did for what 45 years, makes it really interesting. Professor Kalra, your turn now to respond to all the four faculty leaders and their observations. Premji, have we lost him? He seems to, his image is frozen. Professor
I
Kalra, are
think
you
we
there?
lost him. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost him. He'll come back.
Yeah.
Unless somebody helps him out there, he may not be able to. Okay, anybody else who wants to say anything at all? What we could do, Yatin, is this, since you're here on the mic, we must enable these four institutions to see how they connect with Professor Rupali or with Professor Kalra at the Dayalbagh Education. Get the, what is it called? Get the, whatever that you need to do to formalize the association with the Dayalbagh DEI, and I will enable that process for you so that these four leaders here who are teaching, who are influencing, students there. I mean, HVAC, mechanical engineering, all of these are things that will definitely benefit from it. Yasin, your take? Yes, back. He is back. Professor Kalra is back. Yatin,
Sorry
your
that
take
it.
on that?
About, sir,
Yes.
I missed actually in between. If there is
No,
any
not a problem. I saw that you dropped out. What I thought we will request you to do is to see. I know you were there until you heard all the four faculty speakers, leaders.
Yes.
Can you respond to what they were speaking about? Would you want to have anything to say on that?
Mike, actually, what you're suggesting is that these institutions should come together to solve a problem. That is important. And secondly, the sustainability concept is very, very important to practice.
Correct.
So can we actually, in a neighborhood, whatever these institution neighborhood is, ensure that we have a clean water, clean air, good soil, and we have something which we grow which is very unique to that place, so that becomes a kind of USP, unique selling point for that institution actually, because classrooms, every institution has it. They teach also, and all teachers do well, but can we do certain activities? Because in IIT Jodhpur, what we started was, I don't know whether now that is continuing or not, every new batch used to grow one tree, and they were responsible for that. So slowly you build these things, So if the vision is there to actually, kind of do the long-term thing, then we have to also think that how do we actually implement these things?
Absolutely. Shweta and Rachna, you might have some things to say in this context. Shweta Suhane, you can do an all day. Yes, please.
Yes,
No,
sir.
you have to
We
unmute.
have been doing so many activities relating to SDG. And in our all, since we are a design college and we teach students interior design and animation and VFX, so all our projects, they include, basically we have to do research, we have to include a case study, and then we follow sustainability. So all the projects have a solution which is sustainable, and we try to align every project with an SDG goal. So that is one thing which we teach the students from the first semester itself.
See, what
And
I'm talking is effectively, in my time, what new buildings in institute came, which were bamboo buildings, actually, purely
yes, sir.
sustainable. So
Yes, sir.
changing the
Beautiful.
paradigm, the way we do things today versus what we'll do in next 5 to 10 years.
Yes, sir.
That is what would change the place.
Yes, sir. Creating a stage, especially we can start at a smaller level, like creating a stage for an event with bamboo and sustainable materials. Once we did it for a festival, college festival also. So we tried to use bamboo only as a material for display, and students, they basically had a hands-on experience with bamboo. So that was bamboo and jute basically. So that was one sustainability effort which we did in our design festival. So
Okay.
we'll definitely try to
See,
do
what
more.
I'm saying is that the expansion of institute also should have at a scaled level. When
Yes,
you
sir.
ask the student to do it, the scale is little small.
Yes. Premji, just one moment. We have Professor Shweta wanting to offer something. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. So, 2018, we got we were kind of challenged that
Your voice is breaking. Something wrong with your suddenly can't hear you too well.
yeah,
You want to fix?
is it? Am I audible?
No. There's something wrong with it. I don't know what it is. While you fix that, we will ask. Sorry. No, not yet. Not yet. Something is
It's
breaking. I
not
don't know what
clear.
it is.
Yeah.
There is one hand that has been raised from among attendees. Just one moment. Let me see. Hanuman Vange. Hanuman, are you here? You have given audio. Yatin, you'll have to enable him, please.
He has a question in the question QR box. We were
Doesn't
discussing
matter.
something consciousness versus what was the other word?
No problem.
Conscientiousness. Conscientiousness is a
Yes.
difference between right and wrong. And
Absolutely.
consciousness is that the higher order thought processes start building, actually.
That's all. That's all. One is conscientious, one is conscious. Okay? That's all. Yeah. Go on. Professor Swani, have you managed to get your voice audio sorted? Go on, please. You are muted now. You have muted yourself now. You have not been able to stop. Okay. Anyway, yes, Hanuman, you want to ask that question? I think it's already been answered. You can check it out in the dictionary, the two words, unless you have something else to say, Hanuman. Hanuman, you want to speak? Hello? No. Okay, he doesn't want to.
Wanted to words.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So firstly, I got connected with Premjan Memorial Trust here at Hyderabad. So they were I was part of a IGBC exhibition maybe, and I'm very thankful to them. And I have been following their emails from a long time. And thanks for the emails. That is one thing, and great efforts. So a brief about me. So I've done my bachelor's in facilities services planning from School of Planning and Architecture here at Hyderabad. And later I have switched to a role in software engineering, but that's a brief. So I work in utilities like electricity, water, gas softwares for that. Just wanted to thank and great efforts team. I must tell you, it's been 4 years, and Premjan Memorial, the trust, your activities are keeping me updated about the subject that I have studied, and really great efforts. Great. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, I think what is emerging, Dr. Kalra, is this, that not just these institutions, Rajiv Sinha, yes, please. You have raised hand. Go on. Rajiv Sinha, please speak. Yes, Rajiv ji. Namaskar to you.
Yeah, namaskar. Well, Dr. Kalra, I just want to say that you brought a very different dimension to this entire burning subject of AI, because all we hear is about the pace at which the commercialization of AI is happening, or what kind of chips and what mega scale data centers are getting built. I think there are two important concepts that you brought about. One is the ethical guardrails for AI, and the second is linking it to sustainability. I think these are very important dimensions. Unfortunately, I don't think there is any organized effort taking place anywhere to bring these into mainstream. There is such a race on that these things are getting a little lost. I was just wondering whether some of your presentation could find its way into this AI International Conference, which is taking place in February in Delhi, where we have some of the world's most active, what you call, participants in the AI revolution, to somewhere bring the focus on the human cost of AI and the sustainability impact, and how AI can help in creating a next higher level or dimension of sustainability. So I think this is a challenge, because many of these suggestions are in the right way, but the question comes is, who is going to implement it, who is going to consider it, who is going to organize this? So I think these are some very vital questions which societies, countries, and groups at large have to answer. And from whatever little I read and know, not much effort has been made in these directions. Governments are considering regulations, but I think that is actually the antithesis of innovation. And regulation won't make it happen. But what will make it happen is a code of conduct, which anybody who is in this field, whether it's Google or a Chat GPT or Anthropic or anybody else,
there has to be a lot more
follow.
Spent. Rajiv ji, a lot more has to be spent by the government. I mean, look at China, look at what India is doing.
Professor Hariharan, I distinguish between regulation and code of conduct.
Agreed.
Yeah. The moment you bring the word regulation, you bring in bureaucracy, then people are just finding ways how to overcome that. Whereas the code of conduct is very different. It's a more moral binding. It's more a kind of guardrails. So I mean, that's just my feeling.
Agree with you.
So I don't know whether Professor Kalra has anything to say on this.
What you are suggesting is a very good ideas, and But generally, I keep myself out of this crowd, which actually believes in hype and myths and rather than reality, what will happen in long term.
Yeah,
And
but
this whole
some of these occasions may be the time to bring
I
people
don't
a
no,
little touch with.
they are so much immersed into their own thought process and
That's true.
marketing the whole thing rather
That's
than
true.
looking at the rationality. Actually,
It's a
this was
race, actually.
Hari's
Yeah.
effort, and we had few times discussion as he mentioned.
Mm.
Otherwise, I don't like to talk on these topics with people because people do not understand the depth of deterrence which it will cause to the society. The way they talk
But
and the
somebody
way
has
they
to bell the
discourage.
cat.
Yes, now I think some young people should take up and do the needful.
Also, as we have seen in the last, say, 30 years or so,
Yes,
finally, it will only be market-led intervention that will mainstream AI and processes that are about AI-led sustainability. For
right.
example, let's say I want to take up, the Dayalbagh Educational Institute and make it net zero water. I don't know what they have just now. And if I'm doing it in a way that they do not use bore wells, that they do not use tankers, that they do not use the grid water, and yet get water and become water positive, what can AI led sustainability do to either offer solutions or to document the process in a way that the students can learn it over the next, say, 3, 4 years and maintain what would have been established as a net zero water practice? That's one example. I could take another example of a net zero energy practice. I'm just now, guiding another company which has got 18 crore rupees as their annual electricity bill. Yeah, actually, it's a little more, 1.8 crores a month. I'm telling them that there will be a 15% drop in this at a guaranteed level with a set of solutions that can be implemented. Now, where can AI-led sustainability come here? Third one is the example that Professor Prem Kalra himself took. He talked about data centers and how there is a need for both energy and for water. That small, very small 10 megawatt data center needs today 8 million units for every megawatt. That 10 megawatts is 80 million units that you need in a year. That 80 million units at the source energy, as you all know, is 300 plus units if I were to take thermal power. What can AI-led sustainability do to bring that down in a way that there is a better rationalizing of the end-use unit and the source energy unit? These are questions, Rajivji, that we should all be asking and doing in the marketplace, nothing to do with the government. While I agree with you entirely that the moment they talk about regulation, you stifle. And, people will find ways. Indians are ingenious. They'll find ways to get out of that regulation.
See,
Yeah,
what
you're
we
given
did
you.
actually, Hariharan,
Yes, sir.
Hari, what we did at Dayalbagh when we created this biodiversity park, we use
Yes,
STP
but
water
no, my
actually.
question to you will be, are you free of bore wells and of tanker water and of grid water? If you say yes to that, then you are practicing. Biodiversity park is a label. It doesn't help us.
No, the point what I am saying is to irrigate this, we use STP water without a single bore well, without any this thing, and without any pumps. The gradients were created to so that STP water
But
reaches
that
to
is
every
only for
plant.
landscape water, which is only 40% of your entire discharge. What
Yes,
do you do with the
yes.
other 60%? See, these are the hard questions I ask today of people. We all want to label ourselves to say that we are sustainable. Are we really?
No,
The way
I
we
don't.
say,
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
thank you. So,
So,
Rajivji, these are the questions before industry, I think. Although I must very quickly add, that all of this kind of water usage in the urban sector, but industrial wastewater is 3% use of all annual renewable water in India. All that we use, you and I, we use, and commercial spaces, etc., education institutions, all that is only 7.5%. These are all government figures, they're not my figures. That's about 10 to 11%. 90%, therefore, 89% is cultivation water. Nobody wants to go and work there because there is no money there. Who does
absolutely.
work? And the
Yeah,
heterogeneity of yes.
that is a big challenge in anything to do with the vast agriculture that we have, with such small land holdings, such distributed land holdings. Nobody has the scale to try and do things differently. I think that's where whatever I've seen in Dayalbagh, there has been some revolutionary ways in which this is being done, because there is some scale which is possible. But if you look at a normal farmer with a 1 acre, 1.5 acres holding, how do you expect him to look at water conservation the way we want it? So I mean, these are the real challenges where I hope in the period of time, AI would give us some completely unique answers. I mean, that's
Very right, very
that's
right
the whole,
about that.
because somewhere the quality of life has to improve. I
Yes.
think it is. I remember Elon Musk saying that why do we have to worry about poverty? Because as AI becomes more successful, everybody would be well off. Well, I think that's a bit of a pipe dream.
It's
But
a huge
the
lie they want to live.
directionally, we have to see.
Hari, can we move out of this discussion, because this is becoming non-ending in a way?
Sure. Go on. You lead it for us. You lead it for us.
No. Rajiv has been my mentor in number of things. He's
Oh,
also a
come on.
graduate of IIT Kanpur. And we have been exchanging notes and so on and so forth.
We try to pose questions to one another, I would say that way. Okay, carry on, please. Thank you.
No, Rajiv ji, your questions are very profound. They need to be addressed, but maybe we'll find another forum
sure.
where we'll invite you to speak on this.
No. That's fine. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Premji, thank you for reminding us of the time and governing it for us. Any last words? Yes, Professor Suhani. Oh no, your voice is why it is so today, unfortunately. Maybe you should come on your mobile. Quickly drop out from here and come on.
Oh, am I not audible?
We can't hear you.
I think, Hari, you can share my mobile number with her. So if she has questions, I can actually answer those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that. Yatin, you please do that. And let
Yes, I will share.
I would like to thank you and Payal for organizing, giving this opportunity to me to speak to people.
Very nice. And very, very, very nicely done. You took your 35, 40 minutes. Very dense. And any of you who need this among the students, we will ensure that the recording is sort of sent to you so that you can listen to it once again, share it among your other friends also, in a way that you'll learn from this. Yatin, can you do that, please? Because you will have the mail IDs with you. Just send them the link. Let the students listen to this, and that will help them a great deal. Of course, the faculty members, needless to add. If there is nothing else anyone wants to add as last words, I would think we can sign off. Spent an efficient 1 hour today, 1 hour, 10 minutes. Should we close up?
So much. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Premji, for all the dedicated effort you made, not for spending time today. I know you have spent easily 20 hours on this deck that you presented today. Very dense on thought, very wonderfully done. See, that is passion, that is commitment. And Professor Shivaprasad and the others here, Professor Mohit Bansal and others, please take advantage of people like him. They are like the use me garbage cans. They're saying, please come, use me, take things from me. So please do that. And we will connect you to him. I mean, his mail ID and telephone number is there. He'll be delighted to help your institution. How the rest of it is structured is all up to you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye.